In case you didn't already know, there's currently a massive autumn sale happening on the Nintendo eShop. And considering the eShop is still an absolute mess to navigate, especially in sales, I've come through all of them to find 20 of the best sale games to pick up this autumn. And the best part is nearly all of these are on sale not just in America and Canada, but also in Europe as well. And to make sure that you can find the perfect sale game for you, I've split this video up into 3 different price points, which you can see in the timestamps down below. So the first games we're going to start with are games priced between $1 and $10 US. And first up, we have Paper Trail, which is currently 90% off and $1.99. Now this is a wonderfully unique puzzle game, where you need to guide Paige on a journey by simply folding the pages and helping her across each of them. And even though the game starts off pretty simple at first, the puzzles definitely ramp up as the game goes on, but in a really fantastic way. And it will see you folding pages in ways you never thought you could when you first started the game. The thing though that I think makes this game absolutely worthwhile picking up is the fact that I didn't find it frustrating at all, and that is due to their inbuilt hint system. And this basically takes you to the solution step by step, meaning that you can either watch the hint all the way to the end to get the answer, or you can use it as a starting off point by just seeing the first couple of steps to try and get to the solution yourself. I will truly never stop recommending this game, especially when it's on sale for this much, so definitely pick it up if you haven't already. Then we have Spiritfarer, which is 85% off and $4.49. This is the perfect game for Halloween, as there's nothing scarier than emotions. And Spiritfarer will truly make you feel everything. Now, we're not going to spend long on this because it is one of my favorite games of all time, and we've spent a while talking about it on this channel. But this is a game all about guiding spirits to the other side, but not before you help them with any of their unfinished business. But the beautifully bittersweet part of Spiritfarer is that the game makes sure that you spend enough time with each spirit to get to know them, as you get to learn all about who they are and what they did in their life by carrying out tasks for them to help them move on. And after you've helped them with everything they need to do, you get to do the really hard part, which is saying goodbye as they pass through to the other side. And this is just a fantastic mix between management mechanics as you tend to your boat, but also beautifully touching moments that makes this a game that you're almost guaranteed to shed a tear at. Next up is Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, which is currently 80% off and $9.99. If you haven't heard of Ni no Kuni before, these games are gorgeous and the stories are fantastic, and this truly gives you so much game for your money. Now, the Ni no Kuni games kind of combine Studio Ghibli style animation with RPG-like gameplay, and in this you get to play as Oliver, who sets off on a journey through a whole new world he never knew existed to try and bring back his mother. The battle mechanics in this are really unique and different, but what keeps me coming back for more is the story. And I love that for less than $10, you can get a voice-acted game. Next up, we have Witchwood, which is currently 50% off and $9.99. This is another game perfect for the autumn season, as this will see you play as a mysterious old witch of the woods. And in this, you'll travel through the wonderfully gothic countryside, collecting magical ingredients in order to try and fulfill your contract you made with a demon. A contract that you don't actually remember making. Now, this is very much a game where you don't have to pay too much attention to it. All of the quests are basically some sort of fetch quest, so it's a great game to play when you really don't want to think too much. Next up, we have Jenny LeClue, which is 84% off and $1.99. I mention this every time it's on sale because at this price point, how can I not? And you may have guessed from the title if you've never heard of this before. In this, you play as Jenny, who is a detective. And she's trying to uncover the truth after her mother was accused of murder. And despite the fact that unseen forces are trying their best to get in the way, Jenny will stop at nothing to try and uncover what's actually going on. And the best part is, this is a story which you can influence. Your choices in this do matter. And again, this is another fully voice-acted game. Next up, we have the Cosmic Wheel of Sisterhood. And not only is this a perfect autumn game, it's also one of my favorite games of all time. This is a narrative experience that follows a witch named Fortuna, who is 200 years into a millennia-long exile. And in a moment of absolute desperation, she makes a deal with a forbidden entity called a behemoth, all in the hopes of being free. But the thing that makes the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood so good is how you control the story, because it's not actually in your narrative decisions. Instead, it's all to do with how you interpret tarot cards. You see, Fortuna has the ability to read into the future using her deck, and the way you interpret each of the cards as you read them will not only determine Fortuna's future, but also the future of the entire witch coven that she was once a part of. If you love narrative games, then this is truly one of the best, and I can't recommend it enough. Next up are the games in the $11 to $20 price range. And first up we have Cozy Grove, and this is currently on sale with the DLC for just under $12. Now this to me has been the perfect game to sort of make a part of your daily routine, as this is a game that's designed to be played in short bursts, but you can come back to it regularly. And this will see you play as a spirit scout, whose entire job it is to help out these bear spirits on a deserted island. And to do this, you'll need to collect resources, craft, fish, and even decorate to make the spirits happy. But what makes this game special is the friendship that you build with each of the bears, because the more you do for them, the more you learn about them and their lives, which leads to some truly touching moments. And another great reason to pick this up right now is the fact that there's currently a Halloween event on. So if you're someone like me who might be feeling more Christmassy than I am Halloweeny, this might be a good way to get into the right spirit. Next up we have Discounty, which is currently 20% off and just under $16. You know one thing that's really scary? Capitalism. And this is a game all about that. Discounty sees you move to a brand new town to help out with your aunt's supermarket. And by day, you'll be ordering stock, restocking the shelves, checking out customers, and even negotiating trade deals. But the best thing about Discounty is that the game doesn't end when you close the store, as this is also a life sim. And as the store expands and your aunt begins to make some questionable decisions about expanding the store, you'll have to live with those decisions. And you'll get to hear all about how the locals are feeling about it as you walk around the town and try and live your life. This might not be a very long game, but it is one that I very much enjoyed, and it has got some big updates coming very soon, so this is a great time to pick it up. Next up is Core Keeper, which is 40% off and just under $12. I truly believe that this is such an underrated game, but also a really hard game to describe, as it's got a little bit of everything inside of it. This is an exploration game where you get to explore a cavern filled with not only resources, which you can then use to craft anything from useful tools to huge and beautiful bases, but it's also filled with diverse and beautiful biomes like a crystal cavern, and also relics and titans. So there really is a lot to do. This is also multiplayer, so you can play it with up to 8 friends. And this has the perfect mix between it being a sandbox-like game, allowing you to do whatever you want and build whatever you want. But it also has lore to uncover, items to find, and bosses to fight. So you always have a sort of direction to aim for. Then we have Moonstone Island, which is currently 40% off alongside all of the DLCs. And currently the base game is $11.99. Now the best way to describe this if you've never heard of it is that it is a mix between Stardew Valley, Pokemon, and old school Zelda. The game begins with you moving away from home for the very first time to complete your alchemy training. And after you crash in a small town that just so happens to need an alchemist, you decide to settle down and make it your home. Now the thing I love about this is not only does it have all of the life sim mechanics that I love, like romance and friendship mechanics, and also the ability to decorate your home, but it is also a monster taming game. You see, the island which you crash landed on is just one of over 100 procedurally generated islands for you to explore, and each filled with unique spirits for you to catch. And you'll definitely want to find yourself a team of not only adorable but also powerful spirits, so you can explore everything there is to do on these islands. because these 100 islands are filled with so many secrets for you to uncover. As one of my favorite parts are actually these Zelda-like dungeons that you can find hidden around the map, seeing you not only solve puzzles, but also take on some pretty powerful bosses, which you have to take on with this card-based battling system, which I do really like. And if that's not enough, they even have the ability to catch the equivalent of shinies in Moonstone Island. This has so many hours of fun in it. They've added so much to the game since it first came out, and this is a fantastic price to pick it up. Next up is Snufkin Melodies of Moomin Valley, which is 30% off and $13.99. This is honestly the perfect game to play when it's freezing cold outside and you just want to wrap up and play a cozy game. This is a musical adventure that sees you play as Snufkin, who returns to the valley only to find out that it's not quite how he left it. Because instead of it being a beautiful countryside filled with animals, it's instead covered in these horrific parks. And he decides it's his job to destroy them one by one and restore the valley back to nature, all while making friends, playing music, and solving puzzles. I love everything about this game, from the art to the music and of course the story, and even though it is short, this is a much better price point for that experience. Next up is Wildflowers, which is 25% off and $18.74. I've spoken about this game endlessly, so we won't spend long on it, but this is the perfect time to pick up one of my favorite games. Wildflowers is part farming sim and part narrative life sim. In this, you play as Tara, who, after being dumped and getting fired, decides to move in with her grandmother to try and help her tend to her farm and take care of her. But the twist is that things don't exactly go to plan when she finds out that her grandmother is actually a part of a witch coven. And it's not long before Tara decides to join in and become a witch herself. The thing that truly makes Wildflowers special to me is the story. It is just wonderfully written and wonderfully voice acted. And just the main storyline alone will probably take you at least 50 hours. So this is a lot of value for your money. Next up is Ooblets, which is currently 40% off and $17.99. Again, another one of my favorites. And honestly, what better time to pick it up since the Halloween event has already started and is honestly one of my favorite Halloween events that there is in any cozy game. This will see you once again move to a brand new island to start a new life as a farmer. But you see, this isn't any ordinary island. This is an island filled with creatures called Ooblets. And the wonderful thing about Ooblets is that they don't fight one another, they dance battle. And if you successfully dance battle an Ooblet, they will give you a seed, which you can then grow in your garden to make your very own Ooblet. And the wonderful thing about Ooblets is not only are they adorable, they're also incredibly useful. As not only can they help you out on your farm and help you make money, you'll also need a team full of them to help you with your quest to make the town the best it can be. Ooblets has so much character, it never fails to make me laugh, and it's a game I always come back to, so if you haven't yet tried it, this is your sign. Then we have Potion Permit, which is currently 60% off and $14.99. Now, if you're tired of farming sims, but love the farming sim vibe, this is the game for you, as this has the farming sim gameplay loop, but without any farming. You see, in this game, you move to a brand new town, but not as a farmer, but as an alchemist. And it's your job to take care of any of the villagers if they get sick. So this means first diagnosing them to figure out what's wrong. This will then tell you which potions you need to brew in order to heal them. You'll then need to go out and collect the ingredients and make the potions yourself. But when you're not tending to the villagers' illnesses, you're investigating a much larger problem. You see, when your character first moves into the town, you find out that basically every villager hates you. And it's not long before you figure out that it's actually not you that they hate, it's your job. As it turns out, the previous alchemists who lived here actually used the town for experiments and managed to ruin the town in the process. So soon it becomes your job to not only heal the town's people, but also heal the land from the previous alchemist's mistakes. I really feel like this is such an underrated game that doesn't come up often, so this is the perfect season for it to make a reappearance. Next up is Dredge Deluxe Edition. Unfortunately, the base game isn't on sale, but this particular DLC version is 40% off and is currently just over $16. Now this is another perfect game for the season, and also one that I can recommend a little bit more freely now, as they've introduced a new passive mode that makes this game a little less scary and a little easier to play in the dark. But despite its scary appearance, Dredge actually has a really satisfying gameplay loop that once you get into it makes it really hard to put down. You see, in this you play as a fish trawler, and it's your job to make money by catching and selling fish. And as you go, you can buy upgrades for your boat to allow you to catch not only more fish, but also larger fish as well. But as you begin to explore the sea and travel a little bit further, you realize that there's something a little bit more sinister going on. And bit by bit, as you speak to the locals, you begin to uncover the dark secrets. And speaking of dark, that's definitely something you might want to avoid in Dredge, because you might not like what lurks behind the shadows. Now, the brand new mode that they've added is called Passive Mode, which basically means that you don't take any damage. So this means that you can enjoy the creepy vibes with less, impending doom, which I have really enjoyed. Next up is the $21 and up range, which truly has some fantastic deals. First up, we have Cyberpunk, which is 42% off and $39.99. I feel like everyone knows what this game is at this point, but if you're wondering, this does run fantastically well on the Nintendo Switch too. It truly surprised me just how good it looks. This is an incredible port, and for this price, it's most definitely worth it. Next is Cult of the Lamb, which is 50% off and $22.49. Now this is another game where it's on sale with all of the DLCs, but not the base game by itself, which is a little frustrating, but this is still a fantastic price. Now one reason you might want to pick this up is there's actually a brand new DLC coming early 2026 called Woolhaven, which they've said is going to be absolutely huge, which includes not only a brand new area to explore, a new god, but also ranching. Yep, you heard me right, there is animal ranching coming to Cult of the Lamb. Now if you haven't heard of Cult of the Lamb before, this is part roguelike, part cult management. And this allows you to start your very own cult and venture out into danger to try and find new members. And then once you've brought them back successfully to your base, you can then set them off to do various different jobs. You can also build buildings for them and utilities, all in the hopes of trying to make the one true cult. Now you do want to pick this game up sooner rather than later. The DLC is end game content, so you will have a lot of game to get through before you get to that point, but this is a great time to pick it up. Then we have No Man's Sky, which is currently 60% off. Now one thing I love about this game is that it has a Switch 2 edition that is the exact same price as the base game on the Switch. So if you're someone looking for something to play on your Switch 2, this is definitely the game to go for, as this is truly endless fun, as this sees you simply explore the entirety of space. And you can venture to different planets, each of which having their own biomes, creatures, and secrets to uncover. And this truly has a little bit of everything. You can swim in the oceans, you can tame aliens and even ride them. You can also name brand new species of plants and animals that you come across. And there's even building and decorating your own base. But the thing I love the most about No Man's Sky is that it's a completely customizable experience, as you can either treat this like a survival game and battle with things like resource management, dangerous creatures, and even pirates, or you can play it as a chill exploration game, and you can turn off the damage and resource requirements and just explore endlessly. I truly have so many hours on this on so many different devices. I love it to pieces, and I will always recommend it, especially when it's on sale. Our final game is Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now this is 35% off with a series of different bundles to choose from, depending on what DLCs you own or don't own. But the reason why I bring this up now is they're getting getting a brand new update in the middle of November that again brings ranching into the game. I feel like this is the time for ranching DLCs. Now, do be warned, Disney Dreamlight Valley is a fully priced game that also has a ton of microtransactions inside of it, but this is a fantastic game to play when you literally don't know what to play, as you essentially get to spend your time helping out some of your favorite Disney characters whilst also decorating their homes and the valley around them. And this is another one of those games that is perfect to pick up when you just don't want to have to think about anything, as most of the quests are just simple fetch quests, but obviously made all the better by the fact that it's all of your favorite characters. That's it for my top picks from this sale. Let me know if I missed out on any bargains that you recommend, and if you want to see my review of the Nintendo Switch 2 after 4 months, click this video here.